Friends, in this video for I Thought Wealth, I am going to talk to you on the topic why popular trends scare me. When I came into the market, the information which was available to us was very limited. Whatever we got was only through newspapers, and even business papers were fewer. Analysis was much less. It was more news driven. So, the first popularizing of an investment trend happened under Harshad Mehta. So, he created this replacement cost theory, and everybody was calculating the replacement cost of everything, and that became a popular trend which led on to a bull market. As this trend became more and more popular and it got viralized, I noticed one thing. My father, who was not usually interested in such trends, actually came back and one day asked me, why are you not following this? So that was a shock for me, because it had reached people who were otherwise focused on their business activity. It had reached people who were traders. It had reached people who were in other walks of life. So the trend as a concept was created only to do this: bring in people who are not in the stock market into the stock market and make them very keenly interested in the trend, so that whatever they do in the stock market will be within this trend. So all the money will travel into the trend. Now this is something which I found very scary, because I had come into the stock market against the advice of so many people who said this is all gambling, this is all speculation. I wanted to do my investing in a way which is away from, or at least insulated from, such trends. I wanted to do it in a place where valuation was justified and where the long term potential would eventually protect my capital and grow it. It is a very simple and straightforward case as far as I am concerned. But most people found the popular trend to be the simple and straightforward case. Now what happened in Harshad Mehta happened in 1994 again during the GDR boom. It happened again in 2000 when you had the dot-com bust. It happened in 2008 when you had the infra boom, and it has happened in 2018 in the small cap boom, and it is happening now again when you are having the micro investing boom. So people are always wanted to popularize a trend, more the merrier. So if you can bring in 1 million people into a trend, then you have made it. So thematic investing, which people like me used to escape from trend, is now the trend. Now that's a very difficult place to be, because what you thought was an approach which will keep you away from mistakes is now the mistake, because people are popularizing a theme into a trend so that they can bring in more people. You also have this theme manifesting in different ways. You have multiple information sources for this. The popularizing is happening through Telegram, it's happening through WhatsApp, it's happening through YouTube, it's happening through webinars, it's happening through so many ways. So how are we popularizing the trend? We are saying that we are educating a lot of people, and that effectively is like surrogate advertising of alcohol, and it's doing the same thing, making people buy more alcohol. So people buy into the trend, they go in and consume it as if it will not be available tomorrow. That is why you have these stocks re-rating so fast and sucking in more people into the trend. Now when I look at the bare mechanics of all this, how it all works, I see no difference between what operators like Harshad Mehta did in the early 90s, and then it happened again in 2000 during Ketan Parekh's time, and again during 2008 during the infra boom. The same thing, storytelling repeatedly. Now this storytelling, when repeatedly done, can take money into very good companies like an Asian Paints or a Bajaj Finance, or it can take it into very cyclical companies which will not do well. So many chemicals which I see today at peaks can very well be in a very different place after 24 months. But the way it is told to you, the way you are fed with information and perspective is such that there is only one side, there is no other side. Now this one-sided flow of information is the basic fuel to create a popular trend into which you can suck 1 million people. Regulation cannot do much against all these things. It is investors who need to protect themselves, and that is the reason why I have been expressing these thoughts in the public domain. I have nothing to say about the individuals who do these things. They think it is their ticket to success. Fair enough. But I think that you need a defense ticket against such activity. That is for one's own good. I believe that I need it, and therefore I believe that you need it. Now it is up to you to decide whether you want to buy options into cocaine or you want to buy a sattvic pill. Now that is something that every investor has to take, and that is not something that depends on your assessment of me, my views, or what the other person is saying. It's about you. Now this is something which has not got into heads of people. So they are only seeing that we are expressing an opinion against somebody. It is not against anybody. It is against a popularizing of a trend so that millions of people get sucked in and they get trapped. Now it's a reasonable intention to say that retail investor should not get trapped. Okay, so that is something which every one of us has a social responsibility towards, and that is what regulation also wants. That's what everybody wants, but what we are doing is the opposite of what everybody wants. It happened in 2018 at a scale, it is happening at 2022 at a much bigger scale. Then naturally the consequences will be larger and bigger. That is something that I want you to understand, and you need to understand that popular trends and making themes into trends is basically going to trap a lot of people, because the theme will change, the trend will change, and when that happens, you cannot move this many people out of one trend without causing collateral damage. When collateral damage happens, the weakest people get hit the most. This is very simple. This has happened in all cycles and it's going to happen again. Be careful, ensure that you are not the victim in the next stampede. Thank you for watching this video.